So this guy is about to pull off one of the biggest scandals in horse racing history. Now the guy's name is John, and John is Australian, and bro is just kind of a turd. He's always trying to con people, he's been convicted a ton of times for it, and now he's in prison. But one day in 1984, he's chilling in his cell or whatever, and he comes up with a crazy idea to con a ton of people and make more money than he's ever made in his life. He's going to finesse a horse race. So, as soon as he gets out of prison, he buys a really fast racing horse, a horse named Dashing Solitaire. Then he buys a slow-ass racing horse, a horse who's terrible with a bad racing record and who's never won anything. This horse, named Fine Cotton. So now he's got a fast horse and a slow horse, but the important thing is that they both look alike. And his plan is to enter the slow horse, the one with a bad racing record, into a big horse race so that the odds stack up against it. Then, at the last second, he's gonna swap out the slow horse for the much faster horse. Then the fast horse will win the race and he'll make a ton of money by betting on himself. Not a bad plan. What could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot can go wrong. So he and some goons of his, they enter this slow horse, Fine Cotton, in a big upcoming race. And John, well, he's not the smartest guy. A smart guy would enact this plan and not tell anyone about it for fear of getting caught. But that's not the kind of guy John is. John is out here blabbing and telling all kinds of people he's got this scheme going on, including some very powerful people and allegedly some mafia types. So all of these people, including the mafia types, they know he's pulling this scam and they're all about to bet on this horse and make themselves some money. However, a few days before the big race, they run into a problem. Dashing Solitaire, the fast horse, the horse that's supposed to win him the race, he's just chilling outside in his corral, doing horsey things, whatever horses do. And suddenly, boom, some wild kangaroos appear out of nowhere. And Dashing Solitaire is like, oh shit! And he gets spooked and he runs away, and kapow, he gets tangled up in some barbed wire. So now he's injured and he can no longer compete in the big race, so Dashing Solitaire is out. And so John is like, damn it, now what am I gonna do? The race is in a few days and I need to find a fast horse. And like all these powerful people are now involved, including the mob, and they're expecting to bet on this, so like he can't back out now. So with only a few days to go, the clock is ticking and he's gotta find a new ringer. So he looks around for anyone selling horses, and boom, he finds one. This horse, named Bold Personality. So John buys Bold Personality because that's pretty much all that there is available on such short notice. But here's the problem with Bold Personality. Remember, these two horses are supposed to look alike so that he can swap them out at the last minute. But Bold Personality looks nothing like Fine Cotton. Fine Cotton is a dark chocolate brown, almost black, while Bold Personality is a much lighter brown. Also, Fine Cotton has white hair around his feet, the way a cat would have socks. But Bold Personality doesn't have socks. And John, he's not worried. He's just like, no problem. We'll just dye the horse. So then, one night, he and two of his goons, they buy a ton of Clairol women's hair dye, and they rub it all over Bold Personality, hoping to change the color of his coat to be the same color of Fine Cotton's coat. The thing is, horse hair is not the same as human hair, and the dye reacts to it differently. So the next morning, they wash out all the dye, and they see that Bold Personality is now bright orangish red. And so they're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now? Our horse is orange. And so they get a bunch of shampoo and they spend hours shampooing out the dye the best they can, and they get Bold Personality mostly back to his original color. And after some debate, I guess they decide that no one will notice Bold Personality is a different shade of brown than Fine Cotton. Let's just make sure he has the white socks. And so how are they going to give their horse white hair around his feet? Spray paint. And so they go get some white spray paint and they paint the area around his feet white. and it looks all sloppy, and there's like paint dripping down on the hooves, and they try and wash it off, but it doesn't work, and so they're just like, f it, and they end up wrapping his hooves in bandages to cover the bad paint job that they just did until they can get into the race. And so then finally, the big day comes, the day of the race, and John and his goons, they head off to the racetrack in Brisbane with their spray-painted horse, Bold Personality, in tow. And so they get there, and they check in with spray-painted Bold Personality, and they're all like, "This is my horse, Fine Cotton!" And Bold Personality, aka Fake Fine Cotton, actually passes the pre-check where they inspect the horses. I guess they don't notice any of the spray paint. But whatever, John and the guys are now home free. And Fine Cotton, the real Fine Cotton, he has such a bad racing record that the betting house calculates his odds of winning at 33-1. Which is great, because for every $1 that John bets, he'll get 33 back. And so they all bet on their horse. And now all they need is for Fake Fine Cotton to win the race. Here's the thing about this race. This particular race is actually a special race made for some of the older, slower horses in a different category, ones who have a track record of never winning. So Fake Fine Cotton, who is a very fast horse, should be able to win this with no problem. And so, boom, the race starts and all the horses take off, and Fake Fine Cotton immediately runs all the way to the front of the pack. No problem. And he is neck and neck with another horse. But he can't quite pull ahead. One of the other horses ends up actually being pretty fast. And John and the other guys, they're all watching from the sideline like, "Go, go, win! I don't want the mob to unalive me!" And this race, it stays tight, like really tight, and the two horses near the finish line, and Fake Fine Cotton still can't pull ahead, and they end up right next to each other, neck and neck, and then, boom, they cross the finish line. And it's so close that it's actually a photo finish. Bold Personality, aka Fake Fine Cotton, is the one right here. And he ends up winning. And so now, John, his crew, and everyone who he told about this scam is about to be rich. Until Fake Fine Cotton, aka Bold Personality, he won the race, but it was still a pretty tough run. And bro is sweating like crazy now, like someone who just ran a race tends to do. And so he's sweating, and spectators in the audience, they notice something is off about him. Like, it seems like there's white paint dripping down his hooves. Well, isn't that weird? And by this time, word has spread around the track that Fine Cotton, well, he isn't Fine Cotton at all. He's actually a ringer, or a ring-in as they call it, because John's dumbass told so many people. And so the crowd, they get mad and they start chanting, "Ring in! Ring in!" And they're all calling for the stewards to come inspect Fake Fine Cotton. And the stewards notice all this paint on his hooves too, and they can't let this slide. And so they're like, "Stop the payouts!" And the track stops paying out the winning bettors until they can get all of this sorted out. And so the stewards give a full inspection of Fake Fine Cotton, and they ask John for Fine Cotton's papers, and of course, John doesn't have them, and Fake Fine Cotton fails the inspection, because it's a different horse. And boom, he is officially disqualified, and the horse that came in second place is actually declared the winner. While John, his goons, and everyone else he told didn't win any money. And so eventually, bam, police arrest John. Here's a picture of him in real life. And he gets 4 years in prison and a lifetime ban from Australian horse racing, while one of the other guys gets 6 months, and another guy gets 6 months, and another guy gets 8 months. That is wild. And thank you to Leonardo.ai for sponsoring this video. If you want to make badass art for your videos like this, or like this, or like this, then sign up for Leonardo.ai.